going to be colder. It's going to be colder in Dallas, Texas than Beckley, West Virginia this weekend. There's a big change in the weather pattern across that part of the country, and it has a name to it. While we are sitting tall with temperatures in the 70s on this last full week in October, there's a weather system coming to parts of the country, a blue norther. And I'm not talking about the color of the sky, I'm talking about a weather pattern. So the weather pattern this week favors a cross-polar flow. We are seeing air come straight from northern Asia across the North Pole and Arctic Circle straight into the northern Rockies, and eventually that high pressure is going to nudge the cold air all the way down into the southern plains, and a bit of that moves east into our region. Now, this is traditionally called a blue norther, and we are going to see the snow fly. We're going to see the first heavy snowfall accumulation across the northern Rockies going through the first part of the weekend. Here's how the temperature looks. Once we get this cold air mass in the northern parts of the Rockies, it will spread south, and the temperature usually falls much quicker than forecast. So with the utility companies across the Central Plains, especially once we move into the Texas and Oklahoma Panhandle this weekend, there's more of a heating load factor earlier with this particular storm system and cold air as it rushes south. We are seeing temperatures that will drop anywhere from 30 to 40 degrees in a matter of 12 hours across the plains as this front pushes south. It's called a Great Blue Norther is what it's called when you get these temperatures dropping very quickly across the plain states. And then some of that air mass will move east, but this seesaw pattern shows that the east initially in that very warm phase, and the bottom part of the seesaw is where the temperatures drop out very quickly, and you go from a cooling load with utility companies to a heating load as we get that big rush of cold air. Back in 1911, November 11th, a big high pressure moved down the spine of the Rockies, and that generated some very chilly temperatures across much of the U.S. Oklahoma City had a high of 83 and then dropped 66 degrees to a record low of 17. In Chicago, a man died from heat stroke November 11th, and then 2 people froze to death in the Windy City the following day. So this Great Blue Norther will be remembered for temperatures dropping significantly. This is the Texas and Oklahoma Panhandle. Temperatures started in the 80s, dropped into the teens. There was as much as 60 to 70 degree temperature change across parts of the Midwest as this particular frontal system moved through. We are not expecting that magnitude of cold across the Central Plains, but it will be one to make headlines this weekend and early next week. And again, eventually some of that cold air works into our region just in time for Halloween. Chief Meteorologist Chad Merrill reporting for Newswatch.